Hello, interwebs. 'Tis I, Sebastian Piccioni, and Thanos, and StarCraft. Coming to you live from the back of Famous Faces and Funnies, and get your phone on. And this is F3G2, which you are either watching on YouTube or watching or listening to on GonnaGeek.com. Thanos is here because he wanted to let you know that our review for Guardians of the Galaxy is basically, our whole review is the same name as the mixtape that Star-Lord's mother made for him. Awesome Volume 1. It's just Awesome Mix Volume 1 because, this was so good. There's not a single thing. Anyone who's complaining to you is lying or just a bitchy baby who likes to complain about things. Alright? Yes, some people are like, it still doesn't hold to Avengers. Fine. The Avengers movie, had a much more serious comic booky, come to life feel. But this was a lot more fun. And it was just great. It was just great. Everything about it was great. And since my wife and children don't read comics as often as they should, they don't know that what happens to Groot in the movie happens to him in every single issue of Guardians of the Galaxy. So I looked at it at one point and it's just... And just as they start to recover, Peter Quill reads the letter from his mama. Whole group of people just crying the whole way. Also, let me throw out some shameless self-promotion. If you happen to be in the area, by the time you're watching this, they'll be over. But I will be at Barnes & Noble on Merritt Island on Friday for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Night. I will be sketching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles while a local martial arts dojo is doing a demonstration. So you can come and literally get your kicks. And I will be drawing some turtles. And probably anything else, because I did at the other Barnes & Noble over here, I did sketches for DC Comics Spectacular. And the first sketch someone requested from me was Venom, who last I checked, I didn't pull. I'm not one of those, dorks from the internet. I didn't get all holier than thou, flip the table and go, Venom's Marvel. This is the DC Spectacular. I'm out of here. I didn't get all nerd diva.
Probably thought about it for a second.
I did think about it, mostly because the kid just seemed like the kind of kid you should be, nerd diva too. And he came back and made me draw like other things throughout that guy just kept getting back in line. And then Saturday, I and the Mighty Dirk Grub,
Enough.
I know which way to say it, but you don't, so who cares? But Dirk Grubb's going to be there with me, and we're going to be doing, he's going to be doing really good sketches. I'm going to be doing really okay sketches, and we're going to be selling some of the comics that I write and he draws, and that I write and some other people draw at the Florida Comic Experience, which is a second-year local con here in Melbourne. All right. Also, I'm throwing it out. Went to TampaCon. All right. This leads into the first review, so this actually makes sense. See, self-promotion, talking about cons. Went to TampaCon. While I was at TampaCon, I met Cullen Bunn. Cullen Bunn looked at me and said, "Don't I know you?" He goes, "You do a show, right?" My wife hasn't stopped making fun of me for this because I did something I never do. I shut up. Because really all I could think to say was, he's like, "Yeah, you do a show. You used to have a co-host, right? And you do stuff." And I'm like, "Fuck you. You're not allowed to know me. You're one of my all-time favorite writers. You're not allowed to recognize me." Then my feet weren't touching the ground, and I was floating around. And
out-of-body experience?
I didn't know it was an in-body. I was just floating around. I mean, sadly, we left the con early because I had a killer migraine. But at that moment, I didn't give a crap about the migraine. He signed every Sixth Gun trade, including the Sixth Gun Sons of the Gun trade, and my Helheim trade, and all my issues of Helheim, which normally I'm not big on signing individual issues, but the trade wasn't out last TampaCon, and I had Joelle Jones, the artist, she signed them for me, so he signed them as well. Also, since I'm about to tag you in this, Colin, if you're watching, I failed you. I did get to meet Pedro Pascal, who, internet note, here you go, when they filmed the Six Gun pilot that was never aired and never picked up, unfortunately, damn you TV, damn you for failing me when I needed you most. Apparently Pedro Pascal was cast as a new Pinkerton, and he was in that episode, and Cullen Bunn said that he was his favorite part of the episode was this new character that Pedro played so well. So he said, if you get up there, tell him I said hi, because I'm never going to make it over there. I did get up there, but by that point, my migraine had taken over the entire left side of my skull. And I didn't think a squat until much later. I was like, I was standing right there. I had an in. I could have just said, hey, buddy. Then I could have popped a million Tylenol and tried to hang out later so I could be like a go-between and get them back together and be able to say, look, here's a picture of me with Cullen Bunn and Pedro Pascal. That would have been awesome. But I let you down, Cullen, and I failed myself. All right, now I have no time to review anything. So let's start with this. Six Gun, Days of the Dead. All right, as with all my Six Gun reviews, why are you not reading this? I shouldn't have to tell you how good these are. This one, fine, I'll confess. You don't have to have read anything else to get this, but if you have read everything else, it's better. So go read everything else. Go buy those trades. There was a guy picking up the first trade because he knew Cullen from his Marvel and DC work, and he's like, is this any good? He's holding up, because first off, who asked that to the writer of a book? Is this any good? Because, unless the writer, I will tell you when you come to the book, is this any good? Like, no, it sucks. The art's great, but my books suck. No, apparently they're good. People like them. Who knew? But, yeah, this guy's like, he's looking at Cullen, he's like, is this any good? I pull out all of them from the bag over my shoulder. And I'm like, yeah, they're all right. They're pretty damn good. So yeah, read all of those. Read this. This kicks off. We get we're following the story of a couple characters we already know. All right, we got Jessup Sutter, and we've got what the hell's I never remember Brother Vargas's first name, Roberto. All right, and this is their involvement. There's even a little guest moment. They say you never know who the guns will attract, and in the background is little Jake Sinclair lighting up a cigarette, and I was like, "Yay, cameo!" Because I'm a dork. But yeah, so it's Cullen Bunn writing it. It's Brian Hurt drawing it. So it's awesome on top of awesome, which is like an awesome parfait.
I'm hungry.
Well, if you've seen my cameraman, him saying he's hungry wouldn't surprise you. In fact, if you've seen my camera, you would understand that Cullen Bunn looking at me and going, "Don't I know you?" would be kind of like if Big Dave met Chef Boyardee, and he was like, "Hey, aren't you Dave?"
I'd actually be a little more freaked out if you could be a zombie.
It's, oh my God, zombie chefs. Boom, Big Trouble in Little China.
I gotta read that.
Actually, from book number 3. This book continues to get better each time. It is, you get these stories we're up to X number 4. He's always telling these stories of his ex-wives, all right? So Jack Burton tells these stories of his ex-wives. They're drawn the way they actually happened. They're told the way Jack Burton perceives them, deluded himself, and or just remembers them incorrectly, which is hysterical.
3 was fantastic.
We meet the six-headed widow, and there's apparently some false advertising. She's not as beautiful as her statues, and Jack just can't let that go. So he's just pissing off at God. Also, the people, the weird demon clan people that they fought the last time out, they catch up to them, and the one guy just really wants to piss on Jack Stark. That's all. You've just got this ape-looking demon, yes, we piss on his drink. He's like, no, your urine, and then the leader's like, your urine will not suffice for my revenge. We need blood. He goes, fine, you're right. First we kill them, then we pee on them. And he's like, and then later they're waiting. Like, we're not going in there. We're gonna wait for them to come out. And the one guy's like, I still gotta pee. It's all PPU. Tech Jacket number 2. Tech takes it to the chest. It's Joe Keating writing it, but he's clearly writing in the Robert Kirkman vein because pain and suffering to main characters. Especially if it's the title of the book. Plus, so you get you get gaping chest wounds and birthday cake, actually written as birthday cake. Earth 2, number 26. Kevin Maguire selfie cover. I'm not big on selfies. I'm not always big on variants, but I'll buy anything Kevin Maguire draws. So I've got the Kevin Maguire selfie. Look at that. I already love these Earth 2 characters, but once Kevin Maguire draws them, that's it. They're legit. This is Jay Garrick now. This is
Scott.
It's still Alan Scott. I just can't breathe. But that's them now because they've been drawn by Kevin Maguire. That's it. That's all you need to know. Really well done what happens with Superman, and I like the way what's his name that's writing this? Tom Taylor. Tom Taylor can write a pacifist Superman because we've got evil apocalyptic Superman with a twist. Oh, you'll see it. You'll like it. Me, hate it. But that was a spoiler. But you've also got Val Zod, who has striking blue eyes, by the way. But Val Zod, the new Superman, is a pacifist. But as he says, he goes, "Yeah, I'm a pacifist, but that doesn't mean, he goes, I don't want to fight you, but that doesn't mean I'm going to let you hurt my friends." And he holds his own, and it's really, really, really well done. Earth 2, I've said it before, this is what a reboot should be, because the New 52 reboot was incomplete. Some things were not everything was rebooted to the same level, and it's still not 100% clear. I don't even think they know what may or may not have happened continuity-wise, and it's always just kind of a mess and kind of jumbled. But this, they went, okay, clear all that shit off. Let's go. And have just been building on that. And that is what makes it work. Because there's no questions. You don't have to sit there and go, well, what did happen? What did, no. It's a complete enough change that you don't have to feel you've got like 75% of your favorite character, 20% of your favorite character's name on a totally different person. I'm looking at you, Wally. You get, you don't have to have 8 million fans crying out over, oh, you changed Wally West's race or whatever. Yeah, you changed Superman's race, but he's a whole separate guy. All right, you made a whole separate guy. I love Val Zod. I think possibly more. Oh no, more than Superman in the New 52. Although the Jeff Johns Superman's been really good so far. But Val Zod's my Superman, unless you count post Flashpoint. Val Zod's my Superman. Love that guy. Batman Eternal number 18 continues to just knock it out of the park. Killer Croc is my favorite part of this issue. Because sometimes you can be a giant monstrous cannibal and still not be a bad guy. It's you've got what's the Zangief line from Wreck-It Ralph, I'm a bad guy, but that doesn't mean I'm a bad guy. It's Aquaman and the Others wraps up the first story arc, brings back Vostok, sort of. Sometimes you get a do-over. It's like Vostok the Mulligan. It's really good. It's still not, something about it prevents it from reaching great, but really good is, I'll take really good. This didn't have enough of my favorite guy. That's really, we should make this, Aquaman and the Others should actually be called Prisoner of War and Aquaman and the Others. That'd fix everything. Superior Spider-Man. What? How did that happen? Well,
finish it?
it's tying into Spider-Verse. And what happened in Superior Spider-Man number 19, he disappears for just a little bit in that comic because he time jaunts. This is what happened when he time jaunted. He's in the year 2099 while Miguel is here. But now he's amassing an army. I don't know if he's not going to remember it, and that's why when he comes back in the rest of issue 19, he never mentions, oh yeah, fought this whole war. Doesn't seem to know Peter's coming. So I don't know what's going to happen for his memory of all of this, but it's actually the Doc Ock Superior Spider-Man who is amassing an army of Spideys because he's found, as he's dimension traveling, that all the Spideys are getting killed. So he realizes, one of us isn't going to be able to take that guy out. We need kind of an army. He's buffering himself between, guy that kills spiders and a whole bunch of spiders. And he's getting an army of some cool spiders. There's a Christos Gage backup, and since Christos Gage is my Cullen Bunn, Christos Gage, Charles Soule writers whose first name starts with C. My three C's Trinity. So Christos Gage in here for the backup was hands down my favorite part. It was nice to see superiors, but yeah, Dan Slott does the main thing, of course. And it was good to see. Who knew that I'd ever say something like, I'm hoping they can work out something where we get some more Superior Spidey down the line. Legendary Star-Lord, awesome. He gets his half-sister. They're big on half-sisters in comics lately. Everybody's finding out about their half-sisters. But they come up with an elaborate plan, and we get a little psych eval of our boy. Sam Humphries and Paco Medina just blown it out of the park. This book is so much fun. If you like the movie, read the book. If you didn't like the movie, read the book anyway. If you never saw the movie, read the book. It's good. Right, Thanos? Show.
Read the book.
That glove just doesn't end. It's like a real infinity gauntlet. Rocket Raccoon. Do I need to tell you? It's Rocket Raccoon, written and drawn by Scotty Young. Why do I need to review this? It's awesome. You don't need to know anything else. He and Groot have a prison break. Alright? You're like, hey, I just saw that in the movie. No, you didn't. Not like this, you didn't. There's a really creepy prisoner who they're all discussing, like, Rocket's just found out he's not the last of his species. There's an evil raccoon after him. She's actually amassed 1 million Rocket ex-girlfriends as like a league to kill him. But there's one little silly-looking alien guy. I think it's sweet, Rocket. You seem like you have a lot of love to give, and if your race is still alive and you meet the girl of your dreams, and she doesn't want to return your love and start a family, you should just chop her little head off, hollow it out, and use it for a cereal bowl. Everyone else's reaction. And even as fine, if you hate cereal that much, you can use it for soup. And even as Rocket is making good his escape, his last words to the mass of prisoners are, Corgo, please don't do that thing with the head and bowl to anyone. It's just gross. So, do I really need to say anything? Justice League 3000 is good. It continues to be my guilty pleasure. It started off kind of and then once you got past the factor, around issue 3 or 4, because this is number 9. It's just been fun. I'm sure it's not long lasting because I like it, and that tends to be the kiss of death for books or characters.
Generally.
Possibly even actual people.
Haven't tested that.
it's Spread number 2.
Yeah.
This book is so good. This is the one I described it as like post-apocalyptic mutant virus Lone Wolf and Cub. We've got No and Hope, and now we've got Molly, Mad Molly to some, Mom to me. They meet some slavers, and the slavers have a crazy woman who clearly lost her baby and is carrying around this like animal skull wrapped in sticks and stuff that she calls her baby, and they have her caged up because they're slavers. Slaves go in the cages. She's got this clinging to this thing that she believes. While she keeps saying my baby, and she happens to be this important lactating because clearly she had a baby and lost it in this decimated world. No has little baby Hope, and he has no way of feeding her. Come across slavers with a lactating slave. Daring rescue, the death of a monster. Turns out, we already knew the baby was special because she's called Hope. She is somehow not only just immune, but actually deadly to these mutant creatures. So he actually takes the axe, holds it against the baby's face, and when the baby kind of goes and like drools little baby spit bubbles, gets it all over the axe, he's able to just kill these things when he hits them with her spit-laden stuff. It's Justin Jordan writing it, and Kyle Strom on art. It's really, really good. You should totally check that out. Totally worth your time. Swamp Thing 32, Charles Soule. Oh, the final C, my triptych is complete. Oh, I'm leveling up. So I've got so many problems. This is so good. This more or less wraps up. I mean, there's potential for problems down the line, but it more or less wraps up the storyline with the avatars he let out, the former avatar, the parliament members that he has let out of the green to take with him, and how they were not quite adjusting so well. There's a lot of tears, but there's some satisfaction when I can never remember her damn name. But when people who needed some comeuppance get some comeuppance, and some brilliant, not just and that's your revenge. No, some brilliant. When there's a line like, "You said you feel helpless in this flesh form. Well, how do you feel now?" Snap, and leave somebody paralyzed. Someone who once had godlike powers. That's pretty intense right there. There's a triptych of soups. All right, Superman, Wonder Woman. All right, Charles Soule. Woo! Annual #1. And then Action Comics Annual #3 and issues 34. These are both written by Greg Pak. This one's got art by Aaron Kuder, who, of course, I'm loving his writing over on the soon-to-be-canceled Superboy. Also Scott Collins in there, and everybody loves some Scott Collins. It's good. It's none of this is great, but it's not. I don't feel it's any individual writer's fault. I just feel this story. There's not enough cohesion. This story started out. I really liked the Doomed starting out, but it's not. It's like 4 ideas that would have made great stories combined into 4 partial. Everything loses something. So it's like, okay, it's Doomsday is the threat. No, he ripped Doomsday in half. No, he's turning into Doomsday. That's the threat. No, Brainiac's showing up. He's behind everything. That's the threat. No, Non and Mongol just walked out of the Phantom Zone. That's the threat. They did bring back Crypto, but they're drawing Crypto to look a little too weird tiger wolf thing again. They just kind of fixed him over there and made him look like a wolf, but not quite a dog, more of a wolf. But now he's looking weird tiger wolf again. Also, he keeps hanging out with. I don't understand the point of that. It's a character named Baka. All right, so if you're an anime fan, you can all giggle now. Baka. All right, Baka spends half his time looking like a bamf. Okay, he looks like he's blue with pointy ears and a tail and not enough fingers. So basically, he spends half his time looking like a bamf. He's basically like a 10-year-old Nightcrawler. For the rest of the time, he turns into this big monster dog thing. So he's like a Bamf that turns into one of those Hulk poodles from
Oh.
the first Hulk movie. I don't know, Greg Pog. I'm a fan of yours, but I can't defend you on this. So I'll move on. Clone number 10. This series, 19. I lied to you about 10. Clone number 19. This series has been awesome. It's like intrigue up the wazoo. You're literally your own best friend and your own worst enemy because clones. And it's just so good. Read this. Dayman number 4 took a damn long time to come out, and then took me an extra week because they Diamond shorted Famous Faces. But great, vampire mob movie combo. It's like vampires, but forget the True Blood route and make it more like vampires run themselves in little family clans. A lot more like similar to the Vampire the Masquerade game, but a lot more like Vampire the Masquerade if it was written by Mario Puzo. So, it's good. George R.R. Martin's Game of Thrones, number 21. I don't know why you don't hear more about this comic. I mean, Game of Thrones is everywhere, but this Dynamite comic, and it's just literally the company. I'm not just saying it's a Dynamite comic, although it is. But I don't know why this doesn't get, bandied about more, because it should.
Maybe because it's so far back.
It is. You're way back. We just lose Ned in this issue. That's how far back we are. But the art is good. The story is good. It's a nice in between for the book and the movie. It's got.
Show.
I mean, yeah, it's got more than the show does, but less than the book does. So it's got, it's that nice little segue for those of you who know nothing. Flash Gordon number 4. This book is a Dynamite book because I can't tell you. This is Jeff Parker and Evan Shaner. I'm buying the trades on this. This is like my favorite Dynamite book right now. And in this issue, they let me know where it falls in. They actually tied it into that crazy limited series that just ended that had Flash and what the hell is it? Mandrake, right? It was Mandrake the Magician and the Phantom and all of it. And this picks up from there. But this is the best blend that Dynamite specifically and most companies generally have ever done on merging a pulp era golden age property with making it more modern but not losing what it's perfect. It doesn't matter if you're a fan of the original, if you're a fan of any of the newer ones, or if you're not a fan at all. It's really well done. I can't stress that enough. Grayson number 2, I continue to enjoy it. Who knew? I'm not quite 100% sold on the new version of what's her name of Helena Bartolini, aka the Once Upon a Time She Was the Huntress. Because the original Huntress is the new Huntress again, so that makes the new Huntress the old Huntress. Weird how that works. You get some more Midnighter, you get some more of the intrigue. It ties in nicely with the Bat books. He's back and forth with Batman because he is on a mission, and he clearly does have, it won't go over well when it does, but he clearly does have an end game in mind, at least Dick does, for being able to come back into the fold and say, hey, it was me. I'm not dead. And at least letting the people close to him know, but it ain't happening anytime soon. There's a guy, the Hood, in this that is new, I think. I don't know enough Batlore, but something about him kind of reminds me of Azrael, but
Yeah, it looks like
he's very Azrael-esque. Green Arrow 34 breaks my heart that this is going to be, that when I think after the the 5 year later thing. I think after that's Jeff Lemire's last thing, and that's gonna make me cry because this has been so good. And I don't know if I'm gonna stick with it after the guys from the show come on. Not that I have anything against them. I love the show, but I'm buying a lot of books, so this could be a nice opportunity to to slide to the side and go. So that makes me sad. Also, I didn't mention, but Earth 2 made me sad. That was Nicholas Scott's last issue, so I cry at it. Miles Morales Ultimate Spider-Man number 4. Lots going on. Kate Bishop, his girlfriend, not doing well with his revelation that he's Spidey. He fights Green Goblin, and the Peter Parker Spider-Man that may or may not be actually Peter Parker shows up and works with him, despite the fact that they don't seem to be getting along on the cover. And Aunt May seems to think that it's actually Peter, so I don't know what's going on over here in Ultimate. Future's End. It's okay. Still no booster. New Warriors. This was great. Bunch of Inhumans have come after Haichi and decided that he's got to prove himself worthy of being Inhuman, and he can't hang slum with mutants and humans. He's got to come hang with them. Haichi decides no, these people were there for him. He's going to stick with the Warriors. A lot of great character developing, character interaction, team bonding, all done through a big fight. So there's no dull moments, and there's a lot of great interaction. You've got Scarlet Spider is not a big fan of Justice, nor is he he's not a big fan of anybody, but really he and Justice just don't see eye to eye. But you get some great back and forth between them and Scarlet Spider and Speedball, so that's always interesting. Night World number 1 from Image. Really good, kind of creepy, semi-superhero-esque action going on in a kind of, what if Mike Mignola, Jack Kirby, and Steve Ditko sat down and said, hey, let's write something. And while they were sitting down, there was a knock at the door, and Dan Brereton showed up and said, hey, I've got donuts. And they all just sat down and got together. So this was a lot of fun. Very stylized, very very vintage feel, and also really, really good. And look, it's Adam McGovern wrote this. It came up with the script, and then Paolo Leandri did the pencils, inks, and letters, and logo and package design. Steve Price, Florida Friends, not that Steve Price. Apparently, every 15th person I know is named Steve Price, because I don't know why. That's just people I know, but that's Steve from New York. Oh, yeah, look at you in there. There's a, yay. And you're on a book. I was nervous. I was like, oh man, because I'd ordered it before I knew that that Steve was doing it, and then nothing more tense when you know you're going to review a book that a friend, and I'm like, oh please God, let it be good, because if it was an all him book, I'd have no doubts, because he does some great stuff. But this is a book that he's just involved with, and I'm like, oh, I'd hate to have to say something sucky about a book that, whatever. But I didn't. So, whew, we all win.
Yay.
She-Hulk, again, sold. Really, really good, and thank you, Javier Polito, for coming back on art, because I like stylized art, but the last 2 issues have been a little too stylized for me. But it's She-Hulk and Hellcat team up sort of with Hank Pym to find a guy who's come up with another miniaturization style that is not quite tested, and he shrank himself and is now lost, and they've got to find him because She-Hulk's been brought in for legal reasons. They bring in Hank for obvious reasons, and then you have one of those tiny adventures across a park, and Hellcat trying to use the Ant-Man helmet, and she's able to summon the ants at first, but not really control them. So the ants are just coming in for sugar. The only things they can get sugar from are, say, She-Hulk, and not that kind of sugary perps. No, those ain't. Titan number 1 from Red Anvil. This has been all over Kickstarter. This is Joe Martino, really good guy. He did the Shadow Flame book that I reviewed many, many moons ago on the original incarnation of the show. This is really good. This is very personal for him because he's had a fight with cancer, and now this is a Captain Marvel-esque, like a, you transform into the big hero, but what if your human part gets cancer? And how do you deal with that? You've got all of this power and all this whatever, but it's like that Superman, like, all my powers, all these things I could do, I couldn't save him. But the him in this case is you. Really, really well done, and I believe that it's something. It's at least done for cancer awareness. I think there may be more even to it than that. I don't remember the full story, but the comic was really, really good. The art's great. The story. It's not just an in your face. Oh, we're doing this for cancer. It's put into the story as an actual story plot, and it's not just a gimmick, so it was really well done. The Woods, number 4, so good. I love Dr. Robot, the space monkey, who maybe he's like the Lassie of space. When his human buddy's in trouble, he goes and tries to find people, but most people don't know what it means when a kind of space monkey, it's sort of like a spider monkey combo, is like pulling on your hair, and you're like, do I follow it or do I kill it and burn my hair off? Things aren't going well back at the school. We do meet some new people, and we find out a bunch about, apparently this planet has brought humans to it before, because they find what looks like a Mayan temple or an Aztec temple, and within it there's writing, and it's from like various time periods and various, there's Russian, there's Spanish, there's whatever. Apparently they've been pulling people to this planet periodically. Imperial. Imperial is like the Superman of this world, and he's picked a successor. Apparently the crown really bestows the power, but his successor really, I don't know what he bases his, we haven't found out what he bases it on, but his successor is really just kind of a guy who's, his father died. He's scattering his father's ashes off of the mountain trail that his father requested, when suddenly Imperial shows up and tells him, you're going to be my successor. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. He actually pisses himself because he's like, I thought he was going to kill me. He thinks he's there for he's like, is it for that speeding ticket in Kansas? My friend of mine told me if you don't live in a state and you never plan on going back there, you don't have to pay it. He goes, well, trust me, I never plan on going to Texas. I never plan on going to Kansas. Oh my God, you're from Kansas, aren't you? I didn't mean it. It's just I prefer my states to be not so flat. And he's like, the guy's just like, look, I'm not here about any of that. So it's a guy with a normal life who's suddenly chosen to be the successor to. He's going to become the new Imperial. And shit gets real at the end. Harbinger Omega is number 1. It's Valiant. It's Harbinger. It's awesome. The time for tippy-toeing around little facades is over. Harada is out in full. The world knows that he is thus uber powerful, and now they're coming after the little Harbinger renegades, and who are our last bastion of hope. Captain Victory and the Galactic Rangers. Joe Casey and Nathan Fox redo this Kirby property that Dynamite has redone before, but this is an interesting little take on it. Very good, very stylized, very busy. It's a lot to read and a lot to see. So prepare to sit with this, and don't do what I did and think, oh yeah, I can read this quick before I go do the review. No, don't do that. I had to read that twice to fully get what I was needing. Terminal Hero, also good. Guy dying of a brain tumor that keeps growing. Takes an experimental thing that they found out that years ago, a guy who killed himself had tried this experimental serum to work on this, but they said it had bizarre side effects. Those bizarre side effects are like powers that you can only semi-control, and the guy doesn't like who he's becoming as he has this, but Really good, really psychological, really thoughtful. Peter Milligan wrote it, so that's all you need to know. It's Peter Milligan. Thor and Loki, the 10th realm, number 3. This is where Thor finds out that he has a sister. So Thor and Loki go to meet Angela. Angela doesn't like them. Neither do any of heaven's host of angels. Loki does what Loki does best. He switches sides. Spoiler in 3, 2. Yeah, we're back to girl Loki for a while because he's turned himself into that so he can. Oh yeah.
Hey sis.
I'm going to the sisterhood and we can all beat up Thor. Speaking of all the sisterhood, Epic number 2. This is the comic that Big Dave likes to ask me about. This is the one with the guy who's got all these superpowers, but his weakness is to be around hot women. He can't focus, and it undoes his power. So he's fighting Daddy Longlegs, who was a really nice guy, and a rich guy who took in like a whole bunch of just orphans from every country. He's got them all in his house, but he's been transformed at the end of last issue into this big spider monster. He's trying to control it, and his kids are all there, and Epic shows up to help because every other case, they're listening. He and his friend Beans are listening to the radio, and every story that they're there's an attack and whatever on, there's a woman in a bikini in what looks like a fur bikini attacking the town. He goes, well, I can't fight her. He's like, there's a fire at the Veronica's Whisper, which is like Victoria's Secret. He's like, I can't go. He's like, oh, big spider, I'll go to that. He's like, really? You want to take on a big spider? He goes, if there's one thing I know about women, they all hate spiders. So he goes after these figures, he'll be safe. But one of the adopted daughters is ridiculously hot and is just getting out of the shower as Epic gets there. And he sees the giant spider thing attacking, screams, her towel falls, his powers are gone. he's got to kind of improvise. Suicide Risk, number 14. Requiem's daughter, Terza, in her Our Earth identity, really calling the shots at this point. Really, really well done. This book, Another Earth, has people with powers when their criminal justice system is to erase your mind, send you to Our Earth, and just kind of blend you in. So now you don't remember having powers, and you're on an Earth where nobody has powers, and they kind of keep you in check. But people have been being awakened to the fact that they have powers, and once they discover the powers, personalities come back, and from there it's become kind of a hot mess. And now our two main characters are trying to find out they like their powers, but the personas they were given are the personas they like better, so they're trying to get back to their normality. They just have to fight their way through a lot of super stuff for it. And boom, we'll wrap it up finally 6 hours later with Fracture Volume 2. Alright, this is the book where our main character has multiple personalities. Each one gets their own set of powers. He was Fracture, and he was Virtue and Vice, two arch enemies, and now he's in this. We find out he's also a bunch of other characters as well, some of whom are cooler than others, and it's really well done. And I like the art. Who's the art on this? Chad Ciccone, or in the double C's, Paolo Italiano, should be Ciccione, but Chad Ciccone, and stories by Sean Gaborin. I loved the first one. I bought the second one. I probably need to rebuy the first one because damn you, Action Labs. I love you guys, but why is my first trade that ridiculous little size you used to make, and now my second? This looks like on my shelf when I bought a paperback for a first book and then couldn't wait and bought the hardcover for the second. They look ridiculous next to each other. What you do to me? Why you do these things? Why you play me like that? Here I am supporting you, and this is what you do to me? You make my bookshelves look ridiculous? I don't know. But alright, if any of you are still alive, see you next week.